basically, I started as being said as a normal meme page, and then over time it evolved into like a company. So I have employees. It's not just me. We are a team, and also I'm one of the biggest business, finance, creator, whatever you want to call it, and we're doing different stuff. I think probably you will know us from Instagram, YouTube, read our daily newsletter, or have seen our print magazine. I think it was at Euromasters at the goodie bags or something. The question is, how did I or we become successful? I mean, oh, that was the first slide. We're also talking about that. But how did I or we become successful? And the first answer to that question is basically consistency. I think we have heard it several times today, and I think also a lot of the topics I maybe go deeper into has Christian already touched upon. Because when I started back 6 years ago, like in the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020, we were one of the first accounts, or I back then, but there are several other ones in the same niche, in the same industry. But yeah, guess what? A lot of them quitted after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years. And most importantly, they never really adapted their content to like current trends and stuff. Because social media is really a fast-paced environment. 1 year on social media is basically like 5 years in the real world. So you have to consistently adapt your content and reinvent yourself. If you look into the content we are doing now compared to 5 years ago or compared to 2 years or 3 years ago, it's sometimes completely different and also different from platform to platform. So the content we do on the newsletter is obviously different compared to Instagram or to YouTube. And the second answer to that question is that basically we do content from the bubble to the bubble. So I just do content I want to watch, I want to consume myself. And that's why, we do content which is, I would say, Gen Z native and feels in some way authentic. At least that's what people like you guys are telling me. So, and that also lets us to work with also both the public German, Deutscher Rundfunk, and also private media companies, because obviously they want to reach the same audience we are reaching and want to be younger, hipper and stuff, but they don't really understand social media or like reaching the bubble here in this room with their current formats. So we work with them, do some formats to them, produce them, or help them to reach that audience. And the cool thing is, if you look at the topic, the industry we are in, like covering news about business, finance on a broader scale, if you compare what we are doing right now compared to like what was going on 5 years ago, you can really see how the industry changed. Because 5 years ago, also like big media outlets like Handelsblatt, Business Insider, even Gründerszene, the content was, let's say, more boring, more boomer-oriented. But right now, they're also posting memes. We're doing co-posts with them, and they are doing more native content for social media and more native content for Gen Z, Gen Y, so everybody between 20 to 35-ish. So that's one thing we do. We also do that with big brands. So we work with the big boys and girls, because obviously they want to reach the audience we are reaching. Because right now in Germany, there's not, on that scale, on the amount of followers we have, that many people who reach this really niche down community, which is basically young professionals like in this room. We are working with them. Also, it affected my whole life, right? So the people I met, the conferences I'm attending and stuff. So I met 2 of the last 3 German ministers of finance, some of them several. Actually, 1 year ago, I was commenting the Kanzlerduell in the Tagesschau live stream with Merz and Scholz. And I think something even more crazy, just 1 month ago, before Christmas, we did a co-post with the German Ministry of Finance. And the cool thing there, we basically from the official press and communications team, we did the first delivery of the new pension reform. Because in Germany right now, if you're like having ETFs and stuff, they are changing the way how the pension system works. And the typical step is to have a press conference and release the news there. But we did it before the press conference. So the official news from the German Ministry of Finance got released into the public through our account with basically this reel. And I think that's one of the ways we are now in this next minutes, we'll look deeper into how the whole world of communications, media, and stuff is changing through the creator economy, social media, however you want to call it. So maybe quick question in this room, who of you wants to work in consulting? Maybe raise your hand. Well, that's not that much. Okay, I think 2 years ago I would also have raised my hand. Okay, interesting. The other ones want to found a company or like what? Yeah, some of them are nodding. Okay, perfect. That's cool. Um, because actually, I myself, as a business student, didn't have a clue about the media industry. But media and entertainment is one of the largest industries out there. It's a trillion-dollar industry. And also, I don't know if you've watched Succession or something, one of the most powerful industries out there. So, and this industry is changing through social media, through content creators, and change as a business opportunity also means obviously opportunity. So there's a lot of stuff you can do and that's going on. But also if you look up at LinkedIn from WHU alumni who works in the media industry, it's not that much, but these people have really high up jobs. So there's one in the board of Axel Springer, two at Bertelsmann and stuff. So it's a really, in terms of business students, I would say underrepresented industry. And it's being changed right now. If you look maybe at the classical newspaper, back in the day, 20 years ago, you had like one brand, one newspaper, you had like a finance section, a sports section, and a culture section. But right now, the way you consume media has fundamentally changed. It got way more individualized and way more personalized, right? You follow maybe individually 1 or 2 finance influencers, 1 or 2 sport influencers, and I don't know, maybe a cultural influencer. And that's it, right? And you see also that in the way companies are being built. So there's the saying, people buy from people, and I say from the psychologically saying, we can say that's true. And you see also that in the way the creator economy has transformed the way companies are being built. If you look back maybe till like 50 years ago, from the last 100 years to like the 70s, companies had the name of their founders. Think about Lehman Brothers, or Roland Berger, or Würth, or Siemens. Then roughly in the 70s, companies got way more anonymous, more neutral names, right? They were called Apple, Microsoft. Like several years ago, social media and also the creator industry really came back to the original trend. So because of content creators, you have again a real name, a real face attached to a service or product, which builds trust, builds authority in one niche, and therefore has like more positive emotions compared to like a company. Also, obviously, in a negative way, because right, if the product is shit and you're having your face attached to it, it's not good. But that works. We also see that the industry is changing on the things the big money is doing. On the VC side, you have companies like Andreessen Horowitz. I think probably most people of you will know it. One of the most prestigious, if not the most prestigious, venture capital firm out there. Last year, they built up a new media team, released a new media fund, and even just some weeks ago, I think it was in the end of November, they released this new media followership, where you, as like somebody with like a niche community, content creator and influencer, can apply to, and they will build companies in your industry. Also, obviously, we have that on the private equity side. So there are private equity firms buying up YouTube channels because they're essentially micro media companies. I mean, there's one even founded by a WHU guy, Luna X. They are buying up YouTube channel. Then Electrify Video Partner, another big one. They bought Simplicissimus last year, one of the biggest German video asset channels. And obviously, you have the whole media for equity deal. So I think even ProSieben with 7.1 Media did it 15 years ago with Zalando, that you give up equity for media reach. And you see that also right now starting in the influencer sphere. So they have maybe some companies and even company builder reaching out to you and having like 10 micro or nano influencers on board. Or like if you're like a big influencer with millions of followers, you're the main shareholder, and then build products into your niche. And that's really cool because if you think about it, basically as a content creator, you have way more opportunities compared to a traditional media company because you have the normal business model of just selling reach, selling eyeballs, but also because of your trust, of your name into your industry, you can basically vertically integrate into your industry with your own services, products attached to it, right? I mean, Christian Wolf is a great example for that, who started as an influencer and then built the product directly to it, and it's now a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there are also several cases internationally into that. What does it all mean for you, right? So the statement in the beginning was social media can be one of your biggest assets because, you're having reach. I think, honestly, everybody of you has a hard topic, like a hobby, but something you're like really interested in, something you like to spend time on. And I think also everybody has something they are globally in the top 10% of knowledge. Can be something weird like yeah, I don't know, I'm not making examples, but I think everybody has this topic. And I think it can make sense to do topic exactly for that. You don't have to be a full-time influencer, but you can start doing content around that, and we will come to that later. Because in the best case, yeah, you can turn your hobby into your full profession. I mean, that's what I was doing, and I think that's super cool. If your hobby is fishing, and you can do fishing all day and earn more than an investment banker, I think probably you will pick fishing. So it's just about you starting. And I think we have heard that in several speeches today, how to start. I think also for a professional career, it can make sense. Let's say, for example, you're a typical WHU student, you want to do consulting, and then after 2 years, you want to do the actual job you wanted to do. Let's say you want to work at Lego, right? You could argue that if you start right now with like a newsletter, a niche TikTok account or something, you don't even have to show your face. It can be an asset into your CV, and then obviously, maybe you could skip those 2 years of consulting to join Lego right after graduation. And I think also, if you look into the future, there are a lot of people here who want to build their own company, who want to found their company. Christian has also mentioned in the beginning, the whole building and public space is exploding. Because right now you don't need anything. You have your phone in your pocket. So you have a good camera, you have a good microphone, you can literally just start and also take people through your journey, through your ups and downs. Have you heard about Cluely? Everybody, or does somebody know the startup Cluely? Nobody. Ah, one guy, 2 guys. Okay. So it's a startup also backed by Andreessen Horowitz in San Francisco, and they are literally reinventing the, yeah, how to say, communication, how brands communicate on social media. They are all, I think, under 25, and they are literally doing meme edits of their teams. So I think their internal KPI is having 1 million impressions per day. And because the content they do, they blow up on social media, and they are so relatable, so authentic that they have a really good employer brand, so everybody wants to work for them. They are potentially building a B2C product, which isn't live yet, so they are having like a big wait list of people who are then eager to have the final product. And also because of the B2B aspect, they are also reaching potential investors. And I think it's a really cool story how even building companies and the whole B2B space is evolving. And obviously, in the phase of AI, where you don't really know what's going ahead in the future, I think having reach as an asset, yeah, can be good. If we just look into the future and say, okay, in 5 years, there's just AI slop out there, they're just AI influencers, you could argue that, okay, if you know Niklas, he was like a human before, right? There's somewhat of a trust you can have towards these people. So I think also in terms of that, having like some 1,000 followers on LinkedIn or like a niche newsletter into your topic can really be good. Because in the end, it's basically just that. The biggest part is starting and staying consistent. I think consistent is, I would say, for most people in this room, not that important, because I would assume you are like having good grades in high school, and now at WHU and the internships you're performing well, so I think you're somewhat more disciplined than most of the people out there. But the biggest thing is starting, because a lot of times you have yeah, let's say these golden handcuffs, right? You could join BCG, McKinsey, or whatever after graduation, so you don't really start. Or you're thinking, okay, I'm afraid, what will my people like next to me think and stuff. So the real answer is, it's always cringe, right? When I did my first YouTube video, I couldn't even hear to my own voice for the first 9 months. I think if you like, you know that when you hear your own voice memos, it sounds a bit cringe. I had that for the first 9 months, but I just kept doing it, and then after 9 months, I could listen to my own voice. Then 1.5 years later, I showed my face, and then the same. Speaking to a person is completely different compared to speaking to a camera, because I was just doing weird stuff with my face, and then also my Stirn was runzling and stuff, so it was super weird. I couldn't even look into myself, and yeah, but over the time I got better into it, and it's just honestly just doing it and learning by doing. Because the cool thing is, you can actually treat it as a startup, right? You can right now record 10 videos, post them, even as a test reel on Instagram, so it will not be shown to your followers. It will go out in the darkness, so the people who are following you will not even recognize it. And then all the social media platforms are so data-driven, you can literally analyze the data, which hook was better, which topic was better. You don't have to over-engineer the algorithm, because every platform, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they're all good. You can literally go viral overnight and basically just start. So that's the first thing, people don't really start, and then they don't skip to it. And yeah, that's like the main message I want to give to you, that you just have to start. And the cool thing is, I think also in business theory, there is no like formula that says, okay, if you start right now, I don't know, in 5 years you will meet the German Minister of Finance, or even as a startup, as a unicorn, if you build or found a company right now in Germany as a GmbH with 25,000 euro, in 3 years that company will be worth $1 billion, right? So that's the cool thing. Just, yeah, it's random and anything can happen. That's it. Thank you.